How revolvers can fail is still in the ambits of my curiosity. By their design alone, revolvers should be idiot-proof and impervious to reliability problems. But here we are, dealing with revolvers that became absolute clunkers. Note, they are not that many, but they do exist. Hey, this is your boy Ted from Line 45, and today, I will reveal to you some of the revolvers whom I think became failures because of quality or performance issues. But first, let me do this quick plug. Hit the like and subscribe button. You can see all those buttons below this video. I know it feels like a hassle, but those simple clicks mean a lot for my channel. Now let's get back to the good stuff. Ruger LCRX in .22 long rifle. The LCRX is one of my favorite double-action revolvers Ruger made. But of course, this doesn't mean that the entire lineup doesn't have any black sheep at all. Take the .22 long rifle model of the LCRX. Primarily, one of the things that I kinda hated about this wheelgun is its heavy trigger pull, which is quite ironic. After all, one of the selling points of the LCRX should be its DA trigger. But this time, the main issue is about it as well. In particular, the trigger is quite heavy. In fact, it's heavier than most centerfire models. Its pull weight typically exceeds 12 pounds, which should not be the case. Other operators can deal with a heavy double-action pull. But keep in mind that this revolver was originally designed for casuals. Hence, those with limited hand strength or shooting experience might find its heavy pull a turnoff. It makes it difficult to maintain accuracy during prolonged shooting. But doesn't the LCRX's trigger have a friction-reducing cam? Well, while it's true that it is the case, the heavy pull in the .22 LR version is actually the result of the difficulty in tuning rimfire revolvers to maintain reliability while reducing trigger weight. I find the revolver's accuracy underwhelming, which at this point is already understandable due to its size and stiff double-action trigger. The Ruger LCRX is advertised as a self-defense revolver. But for me, it's better suited for specific purposes like training, plinking, or pest control, rather than something more important or crucial, such as being your primary or backup defensive firearm. Charter Arms Pitbull in .40 S&W. The Charter Arms Pitbull is a good revolver platform. There's no disputing that. The only issue I have is with its .40 S&W model. For quite some time, it has been criticized for a number of shortcomings, such as its faulty extraction mechanism. You see, the revolver doesn't use traditional moon clips anymore and instead opted for spring-loaded detents. These are the ones that hold the rimless .40 S&W cartridges in place. In theory, this design should allow simple yet effective loading and unloading. But the thing is, it has led to some reliability issues when it comes to extraction. Basically, cases tend to stick or fail to eject properly. While you can take them out manually, that's not ideal in situations where you need to shoot and reload fast. I didn't encounter this personally, but a good buddy of mine told me that after a few rounds, his .40 S&W Pitbull becomes unbearable to shoot, given that its cylinder tends to jam during reloads. Quality control is also a recurring issue among Charter Arms firearms, and the Pitbull is not an exemption. It's prone to mechanical problems such as poor lockup, rough cylinder release, and misaligned barrels, even after receiving the revolvers from the factory or post-repair. Colt Cobra, 2017 re-release. Who got excited when Colt reintroduced their snake guns? I did. I know the original snake guns by experience, so having them again in a modernized template should be an exciting thing. The first one that I got is the 2017 re-released version of the Colt Cobra. I don't want to go over the nitty-gritty of its specs, and instead just point out the issues that pushed me to have a mixed bag of impressions toward it. First, its weight. Unlike the original model, this one uses an all-steel frame instead of aluminum. On paper, that should be nice, since one of the major criticisms of the original Colt Cobra is that it is a bit fragile to handle magnum loads. Colt addressed this issue by making the new Cobra in a heavier all-steel frame. While this made the gun tough, it also made it unreasonably heavy, unlike other compact concealed carry revolvers out there, such as the Smith & Wesson 642. It has a low recoil, but is a bit too stiff to handle. Next, it triggers action. While it's true that I find its single-action trigger pull awesome, the double-action pull is quite the opposite. Oddly enough, the double-action pull of this revolver is inconsistent. I found it to be susceptible to stacking. Of course, I know others who didn't experience this kind of situation with their Colt Cobra. But I have to let you know that certain production units of the 2017 Cobra got a bad trigger construction. Maybe I am among those who got unlucky. Now, there's also the issue of its fixed trench rear sight. It's a bit limiting compared to adjustable sights or rear sights that are being used on revolvers similarly priced to the Cobra. Again, this is quite frustrating since the fiber optic front sight of this revolver is something that I appreciate a lot. Its fixed rear sight makes it difficult to achieve accuracy, especially under low light conditions. Ruger Super Redhawk Alaskan in .480 Ruger. Don't get me wrong, I am a huge fan of the Super Redhawk Alaskan. These revolvers make me confident to backpack in bear country and any wilderness because of their solid stopping power. But at some point, you'll realize that there's such a thing as too much. Take the Ruger Super Redhawk Alaskan in .480 Ruger as an example. This one is a cannon that is disguised as a handgun. Powerful is a bit of an understatement to the explosiveness of this revolver. It sounds fun until you start shooting it by yourself. One significant issue is the most obvious, and that is its extreme recoil. Even trained shooters say that it's difficult to manage. Although designed with heavy-duty materials like high-strength Carpenter 465 steel to handle the .480 Ruger cartridge, the revolver's recoil is still punishing and unforgiving. Even with the presence of Hogue Tamer grips, they still do not have enough cushion. Hence, it's very discomforting to shoot, and the kickback is severe enough to cause flinching. And you know what that means, right? Its accuracy is questionable even in short distances. Another issue that I have with this revolver is its size and weight. This thing weighs around 50 ounces even with an empty cylinder. It's cumbersome and is not ideal for carry use. You might love to have this gun on defensive use in dangerous game situations, like bear encounters. But for everyday carry? I don't think so. It's bulky and awkward to handle. Plus, this revolver is plagued with sticky shell extractions, especially with its older models. Hence, despite having a useful raw power, the number of uses you have for this revolver is limited. The Super Redhawk Alaskan in .480 Ruger is as good as impractical for casual shooters. Taurus View. I am not exaggerating when I say that the Taurus View is currently one of the less favorable revolvers in its category. Although its distinct design is attractive, I don't really see any point in buying this wheelgun at all. It has an extremely tiny frame, which of course makes the gun ideal for deep concealment. But heck, its size is too impractical to begin with. The grip is absurdly small, and anyone out of 10 would find it difficult to hold the revolver properly. This is not just a small grip, as I mentioned. It's extremely small and unrealistic for any practical use. It negatively impacts your control and accuracy, and I can't find any excuse why Taurus designed its grip to be this way. Combined with a transparent side plate, the overall aesthetics and functionality of the Taurus View seem more gimmicky than practical, in my opinion. This is just an opinion, but I think I am calling the right shots here. If you want to make this gun efficient, you won't. The best that you can do is practice with it consistently, preferably with +P rounds, as that's what Taurus recommends. But even after all that, there's no guarantee that this revolver will become any better. Additionally, the trigger pull, especially in double action, is another problem that I want to point out. It is a small gun, right? Then why is its trigger so excessively heavy for its size? This is especially problematic with the .38 special chambering, which needs more precise shot placements to compensate for its stopping power. I find the trigger quite cumbersome, and with its recoil, it's really not so useful even for regular use. I am also worried about its long-term durability. Seriously, this gun is a bit too flimsy, in my opinion, to handle 38 special loads successively. I don't really recommend that you use this gun for heavy shooting at all. I guess it's just good for collection, but other than that, the revolvers become impractical. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, please hit the subscribe button and notification bell. Just press all the buttons. Those little clicks are free, but they help the channel a lot. Stay sharp, stay safe, and remember, it's not just about the shot, it's about mastering the craft. Until next time, lock and load.